What's going on, my PT peeps, my Walking Dead family, excuse me, and my fighters? I'm One Eye Bry, also known as PT. You don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about the Walking Dead universe, other shows and movies that we're watching. Sorry, great way to start off the stream with me coughing into the microphone. I apologize for that. But hopefully you're safe and sound and secure and everything is good. We got a tropical storm, depression, potential hurricane, probably turning into a hurricane coming to the west coast of Florida, maybe the Panhandle later next week, coming up in a couple of days. So we'll have to deal with that. Keep our eye out on that. And I have some news about the channel. Well, I guess some news about my life, which is going to impact the channel. But so we'll talk about a bunch of different things. This weekend, maybe even today, is Monument Day in the Walking Dead universe. That was August 27th, 2010, I guess, in their timeline of the Walking Dead universe. And Monument Day is from the world beyond. And it's definitely one of those things where the Walking Dead is trying to do something in commemorance of that. On Facebook and YouTube, I believe they have a live stream of different episodes of The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, which to me it makes no sense because of Monument Day being World Beyond, and they're not actually showing Monument Day on Monument Day or the weekend. What are you doing? But ultimately, guys, Big Tree, Jeannie, Skippler, Negan 1, Rob K, Lil Chi, and everyone else that's joining as we speak. Thank you guys for taking the time to be here. So my wife and I actually just bought tickets for this kind of convention that's coming up in September. It's called 90s Con, and it's a 90s convention, and I'm pretty excited about it. We got a photo op with three members of a show that I grew up watching. So if you think 90s, what are some of the shows that you think of? Right? So a lot of people are going to be there, and it's kind of like, remember TGIF? I don't know if you're born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, born in the 90s, born in the 70s. I don't know, whenever they are. So it's definitely something that it's kind of interesting that we're going to a convention here in Tampa next month, and we're excited for that. So when you think 90s, what are some shows that you think about? Vincent asks, could they announce a third season for World Beyond? They could do anything they want, but I don't think they will. So it's definitely something that I don't think they're ever going to pick up World Beyond. Any there. So Jeannie says Friends. Rob K says Seinfeld. Michael says Saved by the Bell. Dragon says Babylon 5s. Hercules, Xena, Family Matters, Full House, Dawson's Creek. So my wife is a big 90210 fan. And they're going to be there at the convention. So I checked this morning, and I was been waiting to see if the photo ops are. So if you ever have a convention, if you're ever interested in a convention, I would see how much a regular ticket costs, VIP costs, weekend passes, who's going to be there, when they're going to be there, and how much their photo ops cost, and then how much their booths and stuffs are going to cost. So I've actually never been to someone's booth. I used to go to a bunch of Walker Stalkers, and we got a bunch of different pictures of different cast members of The Walking Dead. And we've had the professional photos where you go stand with them, buy a photo. And my dad and I were in a awesome photo with the cast where we have like 13 of them. So there's like a bunch of cast in there too. It's one of the best cast photos. There's no Daryl and no Rick, but a bunch of other cast members too. There is a bunch of photos. Like there's a photo behind the laptop that you guys can't see, but there's Daryl, my wife, Merle, and myself, and it's one of my favorite photos that we have right there. Probably my favorite photo is my wife and I with Judith on the Walker Stalker cruise, because it's just a great photo. I got to talk to Judith a little bit, Kaylee, and she was just like sweet and just a great actress in person on there too. It was just a fun time to do, and that's my Facebook photo with my wife and Kaylee. It's just one of my favorite things. So Family Matters, Full House, 90210 and Saved by the Bell. Lil Cheese says Friends, Boy Meets World, Saved by the Bell, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Buffy, Charmed, 90210, The Nanny, Party of Five. So a bunch of those people are going to be there from those shows. A lot of the cast from Boy Meets World, 3 members from Saved by the Bell, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like the whole cast is going to be there. 90210, a lot of the cast is going to be there. And my wife and I were going to get a photo with Saved by the Bell cast. So we're going to get Zack, Jesse, and AC Slater. So it's Mario Lopez, Elizabeth Berkley, and Mark Paul Gosselaar. And it would have been great if Kelly was going to be there, Tiffany Thiessen, but she's not. Dustin passed away, so he's not going to be there. And I don't know what happened with Lark Voorhees, who's Lisa Turtle. But I'm excited for that. That's coming up in September in a couple weeks, and it'll be awesome. So not much to talk about The Walking Dead besides Daryl Show is going to be here in 2 weeks. It'll be here before you know it. So it's cool because I'm excited for the Daryl Show. I'm excited for The Walking Dead. And there hasn't really been Walking Dead now for a little while. And we got spoiled. We got spoiled with all The Walking Dead. So it was like Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, more Walking Dead, World Beyond, Tales of the Walking Dead. It's just kind of like, it's cool because we like to see the Walking Dead universe go and grow and continue. And the Daryl Show, it's going to go in a different path. We'll see how it goes too. So that's coming in 2 weeks on AMC. It should be there in a couple weeks on AMC Plus, even sooner than that. So I want to see what's going to happen with that too. So Jonathan Morris's Q&A. Did you hear? Yeah. Terry Funk died and Bray Wyatt. I don't think their passings have anything to do with each other. I mean, Terry Funk was like 70-some years old, and Bray Wyatt, his name is Wyndham Rotunda, which I think is a crazy name, but an awesome name for the wrestler who plays Bray Wyatt. And he was in his 30s. Excuse me, I don't know if he was like 36 or what, but Terry Funk. I believe Terry Funk is going to be in a Netflix show. It could be somebody else, but I think it's Terry Funk that's going to be in a documentary style show with wrestling. And I think he's teaching, it's something on Netflix. And it reminds me a lot, if you've ever seen on Stars, is the show called Heels. But it looks like a real life mom and pop style wrestling production, because you have WWE, AEW, and then probably a bunch of small ones after that, production wise. But I think Terry is involved with that. I could be wrong, but I believe I saw there too. Not too. Hey, Bri, how are you this morning? I'm doing okay. How about you? How's everything going? We got a tropical depression going to turn into a hurricane coming on up the Gulf of Mexico into some part of the west coast of Florida. So we'll see what happens there. Rob K says, I watched Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2 last night. I liked it, but it had some minor issues. I don't really know about Ahsoka besides the show that I'm watching, so I don't know if it's good or bad like I want to say it's a cartoon, or an animated series or something, but I've never seen it. I know Ahsoka is connected with Anakin and Ahsoka and these other characters, and I don't really know much about it, and Ahsoka was on Mandalorian and everything. So, but I think Rosario Dawson plays a great character. I like the Jedi stuff. I think Star Wars, I think Jedis, I think they're great, and I think she's going to do a good job with it. And the first 2 episodes are a good start. I'm drawn in to see what's happening here, and I'm excited for where it goes too. It's pretty good too. Yeah, Bob Barker's gone, Terry Funk's gone, Bray Wyatt's gone. The voice actress who played Harley Quinn in some of the animated stuff, like Arlene or something named this, she died. So a lot of stuff's happening. It's just how it happens, guys, when certain people go and, a lot of wrestlers are not Hulk Hogan or John Cena or have such a long career, The Rock or anybody like that, or Brock Lesnar or Goldberg or anything. A lot of people, they don't have a lot of the notoriety. They don't have a lot of the just connections with things. They pass pretty quickly and they die kind of young on the younger side. So it's just kind of crazy to think about it. So many wrestlers don't make it, either ring stuff or addictions or, just heart stuff. So, but yeah, it's been sad for sure. But yeah, so we got a lot of that. So I'll get into the news about my life and they're going to affect the channel. So we got, I have a new job coming up in September. So for those who don't know, I'm a physical therapist. You probably know if you're here on the live stream. But I'm a physical therapist in the state of Florida. And I've always gone into outpatient orthopedics. That's like where you have a clinic and people come to your clinic from after post-surgery stuff or injuries or anything like that too. So they live at home, they drive to your clinic, they stay there for about a half hour, 45 minutes, hour, however long the session is. And then they go home and they come like 2 to 3 times a week for a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever it is. So I got into that, outside of grad school, and that's my thing. I wanted to be an outpatient orthopedic and deal with athletes and higher level people and post-op stuff and shoulders and knees and rotator cuffs and backs and all that stuff too. And that's my bread and butter. So I've always wanted to do that. Stuff happened with my career with this other company. So I worked with this other company and I went here and went there, and then I became a home health therapist. And home health is not really working out for me because I don't have enough just busyness. The schedule's not busy enough for me. I don't have enough patients on a daily business from this company or that company, and companies, home health companies have gone out of business and stuff. So I was online the other day and I went on Indeed or a couple other sites and I put my resume up and I, applied for some jobs. I heard back within a couple hours of this one job. So I was like, that's pretty cool. It was a Friday. They said, can you meet with so-and-so on Monday? I said, sure, anytime you can. The meeting went really well. And they wanted to, think about giving me the job. I talked with another person from their company. Went really well as well. The next morning, I got the offer, and I, signed the paperwork and gave it back to them. So I'm going to start in September, not next week, but the week after that. And that's going to affect my ability to make videos. I'm going to have a full-time job. I'm going to work 40 hours a week. And it's going to impact, a lot of stuff that I cannot do because I just won't have the time. So to have the time in there as well. And probably everybody in here, I don't know, sees my videos and hopefully appreciates what I do on their stuff too. And, you have to have the time to check the news sources, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the stuff on there too. So I have to check out a bunch of different things all the time for information. So it's definitely time consuming, and I'm going to be at a job for 40 hours a week, so I'm not going to have time to do that. And so I want to have the ability to do that. I'm still going to post videos. I'm still going to do live streams. I'm still going to do stuff here and there, but it's not going to be as regular. It's not going to be as a thing that I can do on a regular basis. I won't have daily videos most likely, but I'm going to try to post videos every so often. And it's something that I think I'm ready for, when I had the time to do, YouTube more often. I feel like I had the time. Excuse me. So I feel like I was able to do that, and I didn't have a 40-hour work week for a company. I worked, 25 hours for this company and 10 hours for them, and it varied for this and that. So I had a lot of more time and flexibility in the schedule. But working 40 hours a week, you got to wake up, drive, be at the office for 8 hours, drive home. Next thing you know, you're going to be home and it's like 6 something at night. And have dinner, this and that, wake up early and rinse and repeat Monday through Friday. So I've already started my last book of the Fight For Us series because I have some time and I'm eager to start writing that. But I'm going to be able to write, and then I'm going to have to take time to, work. So that's going to take a hit. Everything's going to take a hit for this job. But I'm ready to do it because I have an opportunity with this company that I'm excited, and it's one of those things where I know that if you ever have the opportunity for something that comes your way, I know that it's kind of scary a little bit. I told the guy, he's like, are you willing, are you ready to work 40 hours a week, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, to be honest, I don't know, because I haven't done it in like 9 years. Worked 40 hours a week consistently. And so it's going to be a different thing for me and for everything. And I just feel like it's just going to be the new normal. Sometimes life takes you down a path and does this and does that. And I think I'm ready for it, but it's just going to impact the Walking Dead videos and everything. And so if you don't see videos coming every week, every day, just know that's why. I will post stuff in the comments or make posts here and there. Like I like having a regular post with motivational words and stuff. It's definitely one of those things where I appreciate the offer that I got for the company, so I got to jump on it. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate where I've been for the past 8 years. So it's definitely something that I love doing, and I definitely, I don't know, it's kind of daunting, but as I take the time to get ready for it, I'll be ready. You know, I'm a therapist. I can handle it. It's just a new job, a new company, new people, a new atmosphere, new craziness there too, you know. Naked One says, I average working 75 hours. I'm working now as I watch rebuilding a price dater. That's crazy, Naked One. So hopefully those 75 hours you're good with it. You know, like that's a lot. That's a crazy amount. That's, you know, you're working basically 2 weeks in one. So if it's 52 weeks in a year, you're working 104 weeks at hours, you know, a year, which is crazy to think about it. So hopefully you're not getting burned out. You're taking your time. You're taking your vacation. You take that too. Mental health is a real thing. But if you enjoy it, then I think you should do it too. So I just wanted to be transparent, as I always am with things, and I just want to tell you, you know, especially you guys, I might post a video. I thought about making a video to talk about some things in there too, and I still might, but I thought definitely to bring it up to you guys on here. So yeah, like I said, my book series, I started book 20, and I definitely am excited. I just started chapter 3, and I've always recommended people to write, especially when you have the juices flowing or the ideas going, and you just want to have it being written down. Whether it's a note, I thought about, you know, one time I had a notebook, and I still recommend having a notebook, like a marble composition notebook or whatever, a binder with paper in it, whatever it is. And I was writing stuff down. And after a while, when I wrote like a page or a page and a half or 2 pages, my hand was like, it was killing me. And I was like, yeah, that's out. So what I write now is I write notes, or I write phrases, or I write, you know, segments or parts of things to remind me of what I want to write. Or I message myself, I text message myself, or I message myself on Facebook on there too. So it's there. And I just, you know, bring it up and I can see where it's at. Because you never know when you have inspiration, or you are driving down the road and you think about like, oh, what about, or you see something. Like I was driving down the road and there's like this abandoned Burger King that closed up, and they tore up part of the concrete so you can't drive in there. And I was like, that's a great idea for having a roadblock. And I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't, but I might not think of it again. And I was like, man, that's one of those things where I'm like, I'll write that down. May use it, may not. And I always thought like that's what you should do, especially when you're, thinking about it too. Lindsay says, dude, we will always be here to watch you grow. Taking care of yourself is most important, and we support all the steps you take. Thank you, Lindsay. Carol says, it's okay, Bri. It looks like you have a few ride or dies here. You got to do whatever is best for your family. I appreciate that, Carol. You know, it's definitely something that I appreciate for sure. And Christy Wright Stock, take care of you and yours. And, you know, that means a lot to me because, you know, I do feel like I enjoy YouTube still. I enjoy Facebook. I enjoy Instagram. I enjoy talking with people. And I enjoy, you know, being part of this community. I'm a small part of the community. You know, there's a bunch of YouTube channels. There's a bunch of Instagram. There's a bunch of Twitter. There's a bunch of accounts that talk about all the Walking Dead. And I'm just a small part of it. So it's definitely something that I don't want to leave yet, especially, so we'll see where it goes after the Rick and Michonne show, because Fear the Walking Dead will be done, the first season of Daryl will be done, and then the Rick and Michonne show will be coming out next year. So it's definitely something that I want to watch and be a part of and see where it goes. I would love for it to be multiple seasons, and I'll still talk about it there, but, you know, I always think communication is key. Right? So I've learned in my experience that communication is very important with anybody, with your wife, with your husband, with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your neighbor, your coworker, your family, your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, your friends. Communication is key. Now, how you say it versus what you say versus what you say versus how you say it kind of a thing, you know, it's just important. And I've learned a couple things working for different companies. But one of the things that jumps out to me is if you're going to recommend something, typically, because I remember working for a company that I first started out, and I was like, yeah, we should really do this or that and change that. And my boss is like, that's a great idea for you. You should do that. And I was like, great. So now I'm in charge of the thing that I think we should handle, even though the manager should do it, right? So just probably be ready for that. Also, communication is key. Bosses love to have an out or play ignorance. Well, I didn't know. If you don't tell me, I don't know. If you didn't tell me, how am I supposed to know? I'm not a mind reader. I can't figure this out. So I learned talk, tell them, communicate, so there's no excuse. They can't say, I didn't know. Nobody told me. So that's the big thing is communicate when effective, communicate when it makes sense, communicate all that stuff. So, especially with like neighbors or your family, or your parents or your coworkers, or even especially your spouse, it's a big important communicating. And you have to be able to communicate and problem solve and, conflict resolution, it just makes sense too. So a lot of good stuff. Yeah. Jeannie says, I have notepads and pens everywhere. I'm old school. And that's good. Whatever works for you. Lindsay says, I take voice notes and Google translates them into text, and I save the notes for someone who has extreme arthritis in my hands. Yeah, you know what works for you. Don't kill yourself to write, hurt your hands there too. As being a therapist, I know how important your hands are and your thumbs and everything. So voice commands, voice notes and writing and typing even. Typing can even bother, the hands too. So that's pretty important to take care of yourself too. So yeah, so I was just reading some of the chat. So we got the Daryl Show in 2 weeks. Are you guys excited for the Daryl Show? I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be interesting. Hopefully it bridges the gap. And I've seen a lot of different, quotes about things or comments about things and a lot of stuff. Like Daryl is really pushing the show, and he's saying that he's creating art, and it's going to feel like the early days of The Walking Dead. Good. I want answers. I would love for a CRM connection. I don't know if it's going to be that way too. So we'll see how it goes down. But yeah, either way, it's going to be here in 2 weeks. Brian, do you think Elizabeth Kubelik is still alive timeline-wise in the Walking Dead world beyond? I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to see her again, because I would love for that to happen. So we had Monument Day, which was 10 years from the start of it when World Beyond started. This is Monument Day weekend. And then the kids were in Nebraska, and they went over here, and they ended up in Pennsylvania, and in New York, I think, is where they ended up typically, or there as well. So I would assume so. I would assume that we'll see the possibility we could see her again if they decide to go. I don't know if we're ever going to see the World Beyond characters again besides Jadis. And she's not even a World Beyond character. She's a Walking Dead character that's gone from the World Beyond now and then going to be on The Ones Who Live. So could they show up? People are expecting and hoping to see Heath. People are expecting to see this, see that. So we'll see how it goes down. But I really don't know. Jonathan Wilder, did you hear about the new Walking Dead game? What if the dreams come true? And I hope it's PS4. And blah, blah, blah. So he says, and you play it on your channel. Yeah, that's a thing I talked about last live stream. It's called The Walking Dead Destinies. And it should be coming out soon, it says. So it should be on PS4, PS5, Steam, Xbox, all the different consoles and all the stuff on there too. So I want to see, what the reviews of it are, because I don't care about rewriting stuff in the first 4 seasons. I really don't care if Shane led instead of Rick. I don't really care if Shane killed Rick too much. I care about the story. How could it play out? There's a lot of what ifs, right? And Daryl being affected by Rick going away. What happened? Merle, the governor, Woodbury, Shane. but it's going to be the first 4 seasons. So it's definitely something that I would like to see about. I hope the graphics get better. I hope the voice acting is okay. I hope it's fun gameplay. Like, there's a difference between story, gameplay, graphics. There's a lot of things that have to go into a video game. Like, I don't want just good gameplay. I want good gameplay, good graphics, good story, good about, and it's Walking Dead, really. It's supposed to be the Walking Dead show, seasons 1 through 4. What if this happened? What if that happened? Can you change it? Can you not have Shane kill Rick? Can you have Shane go away and still be alive? What are the things that you have to do? Is it going to be either Rick dies or Shane dies, one or the other? Because I would love, I've said it before, I've said it for years now, that I would love for Shane to go away. I would love for that to happen too. So it's definitely something that it's what if, but we'll see what happens with everybody too. So yeah, I saw a picture. I saw a couple of things where they were talking about Morgan on Facebook, and Morgan says goodbye to Alicia. And Morgan says bye to Madison. Morgan has said goodbye to a lot of people, right? Like in the beginning, the first episode, Morgan says bye to Rick. Morgan says goodbye to Madison, obviously. Morgan says goodbye to Alicia. Morgan comes back, and then when he leaves, he doesn't really say much, but hey, Zenith. But there's Rick, and then there's Carol, and then there's Jesus. Or it's Rick, Jesus, Carol, or whatever. They're talking to him. So I'm guessing that he says bye to them, right? And Morgan is still alive, very much alive. I don't think he's going to die by any means. Yeah, Zenith, you can come up with that all you want, but it's Ahsoka. I get it. It's not. It's not a butt soaker, you know. And it's definitely something that I'm like, man, I hope we see Morgan again. And I don't know if that's a spinoff that they're planning. Because maybe Rick and Michonne show could be 1 season. And it ends. But Rick and Michonne live. Would they do another show? Would they go back to the group and that's it? But the timeline of Morgan with Mo and when they left and they were in Atlanta or they were in Georgia at Eastman's place, and then I don't know what year it is for them and how it would be, because you had The Walking Dead where you had Rick went away, and then there was a 6-year time jump. But then there was a 7-year time jump on Fear the Walking Dead, and then there was more time jump, and then there was this, and then there was a year went by, and then another couple years, and then we saw Negan and Maggie, but they were doing their own things. When did Daryl go away? I guess Daryl went away at the end of The Walking Dead. So how many years and how many months or how many whatever has it gone since Daryl went away from the Commonwealth? Has it been 6 months? How long has he been in France? How long is he going to be in France? The timeline is something that I don't know if they know about, if they're going to figure out. Does it make sense? Does it not? Does it need to make sense? I don't know. But Brian says, hey, Brian, if Rick and Michonne escape, won't the CRM find them in Alexandria? Well, who knows? Why would they? They don't have to go to Alexandria. And Rick and Michonne, are going to take on the CRM. So I would assume that Rick and Michonne's people and the people that she found and all that stuff would fight against the CRM. And I've always wanted to see a big battle, endgame style, CRM versus everybody. But I don't know. Like, at this point now, I'm like, I don't even care if it makes sense, if it's this, if it's that. But Daryl having his own show is awesome. It's good. We'll see how awesome it is. We'll see how great it is. Carol not being involved. Will it make sense? Will it be nonsense? Will Carol show up and will the first season make no sense? Or will the second season make no sense? Is it going to be a forced connection? I don't know. Dead City is taking on its own thing. I think, Maggie and Negan are doing their own thing in New York. So we'll see what happens, right? And then I don't know what the future holds for Morgan and Rick and Daryl and Carol and everybody coming together and Alexandria, if they're going to do other spinoffs. Are we going to have an Aaron show? Are we going to have this show? Are we going to have a Morgan show? Are we going to have that? I don't know. I mean, Lenny James said he's done being Morgan unless the story is good, it's worth coming back for, it makes sense. And I would assume if Lenny James gets a script and Andrew Lincoln's involved and Denai Guerrero's involved and it makes sense and it's awesome and it's great, he would come back and play the character. I just think he would. But again, I don't know. That's just me. Mash Art, what are your thoughts about Troy's leaked scene? Everybody freaking out, but I personally think the scene felt really off. The dialogue is still cringe and the acting is not great. So unfortunate. I don't know why people would be freaking out. That's just people who freak out about anything, who didn't know about Troy coming back. I mean, whatever. But if you knew this channel, if you know other spoiler channels, if you know other pretty big connections with the Walking Dead universe, you knew that Troy was coming back. It was confirmed. It was highly likely. It was probable. It was possible. And then we see a clip of him. Well, we saw the trailer for 8B, the final 6 episodes of season 8. And we see Madison's like, going to attack somebody. And we're like, is this him? Is this Troy? It makes sense. It looks like him. And it is. And it is. Because somehow Madison is captured Anton, which is Victor Strand, Anton. And then Anton's people. And then Troy's people. Where's Daniel? Where's Luciana? Where's Wendell? Where's Sarah? Who else is out there? Where's the rabbi? Where are the kids? And if you guys saw Ahsoka, the first 2 episodes, you get to see someone from the Walking Dead universe in the 2nd episode. I was like, hey, there's so-and-so. Where's he been? I haven't seen him in a while. So, Dwight, Sherry, what are they doing? Where are they going? Because they were supposed to separate in the final episode of Part A, Part B, Part 1. So Season 8, Episode 6. But then we kind of see them together in the trailer for Part B. I mean, Fear the Walking Dead is cringe. It's campy. It's cheesy. It's all over the place. It's decent. It's good. It's just all these different things, right? Like if you love Fear the Walking Dead, good for you. Don't make people feel bad if they don't like it. I'm not going to make people feel bad for liking it. Because that's your prerogative. You can do what you want to do. You can watch it. You can like it. There you go. But I don't agree that Fear the Walking Dead is better than The Walking Dead. I don't agree with that. People say, the first 3 seasons are better than The Walking Dead. And then Morgan showed up and it's crap. It's terrible. It's just like we had a showrunner. Well, The Walking Dead had multiple showrunners. So I don't think the showrunners really had everything to do with this, with the writing and everything. It did for Fear the Walking Dead with those. But then they're also writers. So the showrunners are writers for it too. If you have a showrunner like Angela Kang and you had a show like Gimple gets a lot of hate for what he did in season 7, season 8, season 9. But he did pretty well with seasons 4, 5, and 6. Or, sorry, 5 and 6. Or 4, 5, and 6. That was him. Glenn Mazzara really did crazy stuff in season 3. And then Frank Darabont had 1.5 seasons. And he did a good job because the first 1.5 seasons are good. But the writing is all over the place. And I'm not here to knock down Fear the Walking Dead. You know how I feel about it. Madison. So they're like, somebody tried to stick up for Madison. They're like, that's how she's written, to have no emotions. Who wants to watch that? Like if Rick was a robot and didn't cry and didn't get upset and didn't get angry and didn't get furious and get pissed and get all the different emotions like you're supposed to have as a human being, who wants to see that? Like some of the best moments on The Walking Dead have minimal to do or nothing to do with walkers. It's when Carol saved the group and Daryl hugs her. It's a great moment. When Rick and Daryl hug because Daryl escapes and Daryl gives Rick his Colt Python pistol. You know, like, it's just like there's so many big moments like that. And you see that, the emotion. And then you see Rick's anger when he's like, oh, you know, ready. It's just so much better, so much night and day. Whether it's the story or the acting or the writing or all the above. So, Brian, he says Ian, or what he was saying, Ian and Andy are the worst showrunners ever. Are they? Or would you say Ian and Andy are worse than Dave and Dan or whatever from Game of Thrones? Because Game of Thrones had like 6 great seasons. Season 7's okay, and then the final one's like, what are you doing? Wrapping it up is pretty bad. It's all right, Tim. Tim says, hey, Brian, late, but I made it. Appreciate it, Tim. It's okay. I'm glad to be here. Catch you for the next 25 minutes. It's all good. Yeah. Dr. Death says, the fear showrunners come from ABC Disney Fantasy Television and its shows. Yeah, were they on like Once Upon a Time or something? Weren't they the showrunners or something of that? Which I never watched. But, so, the first showrunner, like Erickson or something was his name? Dave Erickson or Dan Erickson or something? He had a method to his show. You know, like the first 3 seasons were all over the place. But they weren't. They were, but they weren't. They were not as bad as, 4 through 8. And the first season set the tone, and it was building it up. But I really think they missed the boat with trying to do something on their own. Like, the showrunner said, we're having our own show. We don't want anything to do with the main show. Then call it something else. Don't have The Walking Dead in the title. Because people are going to expect it to connect. Like, so many people are like, is Madison Rick's cousin? Is Madison this? Is Madison connected to Lori? Do they know each other? She's from Alabama and he's from Georgia. Do they know each other? No, they don't know each other. And then Morgan shows up, and then Dwight and Sherry and everything shows up, and it's forced, but it works, and it's just. And then I like John and everything, and they tried to make it work, and it was crazy with it. And then they did the dam explosion and this and the Proctors, which we never saw. Like, they were trying to build for stuff. And I wish they did a better job overall, but I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, let me just read some of the chat here. Sean asks, if you could pick only 4 characters still alive right now to be able to meet up again, who would they be? From any of the shows. For me, it would be Rick, Daryl, Morgan, and Negan. That's good. Well, because Rick's going to meet with Michonne, so I don't need that to happen. I think that's a good option. I think those are 4 really good options. Rick, Daryl, Morgan, and Negan, I think works too, Sean. I like that because I really like the idea, like in the comic, when Negan helps Rick, and Rick was forced to work with Negan and Alex because Alexandria gets overrun by walkers, and Negan is freed to do whatever, and then kills walkers and saves Rick and helps Rick, and then Negan talks to the saviors and talks them down and calms them down. They leave. And it's like, I would love to see that again. I would love to have seen Rick and basically Daryl and Negan take over that story arc. And I want to see Morgan reunite with Rick. So I would like to see that somehow, some way. And I don't know, too. So a lot of John Dory talk. I like John Dory. Garrett Dillahunt did an amazing job. John Dory was a great addition to the Walking Dead universe. I think John Dory, Jr. and Sr., so both John Dorys, and June were pretty good. Althea was okay, but they gave her with the camera stuff, and that was just dumb. I didn't like the camera angle stuff and the stupid guy that was like, recording stuff. Like, who cares? It's just dumb. And then she's putting the walker thing down to get video footage of it. It's just so stupid. If you're going to do that, make sure you're around a military group that can protect you. It was just stupid. But I like John Dory, I like June, and I like John Dory Sr. Yeah, John Dory. I mean, I guess both John Dory deaths were dumb. Yeah, Garrett was a jerk in Army of the Dead. Now, there are 2 movies coming out by Zack Snyder for Netflix. And the first one is called Rebel Moon something. I forget what the title is. And it comes out in December. And it looks really good. It looks like a Star Wars type movie. And I don't know her name, but she was in The Kingsman. She's the person that was with Samuel L. Jackson who didn't have the legs. She had like the prosthetic legs. She's a big actress in the movie. And if you haven't seen it, put in Netflix Rebel Moon. And definitely check it out. It's a good trailer. Jax from Sons of Anarchy is in it. The guy from Amistad and Guardians of the Galaxy and like a bunch of stuff. He's in it. And it looks really good. It looks really good. It's going to be 2 movies. I like Zack Snyder stuff. Like I like Dawn of the Dead. I liked Army of the Dead. I don't know. I like his stuff. Yeah, Rob K says Rebel Moon looks good, but Zack Snyder is hit or miss. Yeah, I mean, for sure, everyone. I think a lot of people are hit or miss now, but I like a lot of Zack Snyder stuff with Justice League was okay, but it wasn't terrible. It was one of the better DC things, DC stuff. I watched some of SummerSlam, John. I thought it was okay. I watched the Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes match and a couple of matches on there too. But I don't like Roman Reigns. So if they don't have Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns next WrestleMania, we got to get Roman Reigns out of there. I don't want him to be the guy. I don't like him. I don't care about the tribal chief and the bloodline and all this crap. I just don't. It's just not for me. Mike asked, did you finish Swamp Kings? I'm on episode 3, loving it. So many old memories. I haven't watched it before. We watched one episode, Mike. So it's been crazy. We've been watching a lot of stuff. So I watched the first episode, because Swamp Kings is 4 episodes, I think, right? So I haven't watched after that. I watched the first episode, and then we watched Indiana Jones, which I'm like, this movie, I like Indiana Jones. They should have ended with The Last Crusade. The ghost thing or the alien thing, whatever, that was just terrible with Shia LaBeouf. That was terrible. And this movie felt like they were combining things and trying to bring nostalgia back and having this and that. And then he's going against the Nazis again. And then you have him digitally re-aged. It was just like, come on. What are we doing? We don't need a young Harrison Ford. I don't need that. But I see what they were trying to do, and I didn't like the woman that was with Harrison Ford in the movie. Like, she kind of got on my nerves. And then the young kid was trying to be like Short Round. I couldn't get past his unibrow. It just wasn't good. And I like Harrison Ford. Indiana Jones is iconic, but it was just like, what am I watching here? It was terrible. Then we watched Dark Winds, the 5th episode. That's really good. Setting up the season finale this week next Sunday. This Thursday on AMC Plus, and then on AMC on Sunday. Dark Winds is good. If you haven't seen it yet, I really enjoy Dark Winds. I like that show, so we're watching that. I got to get back to watching. I got to get back on track with Ozark. We're in season 3 now. I'm not liking Wendy too much. Like, she's doing stuff, and then Marty's doing stuff, and then the Helen is just like too many things. And then as soon as I watched it too, I was like, that's got to be the ferry boat from the Alpha episode. And I believe I remember reading that when the Alpha episode came on Tales of the Walking Dead. And I never saw Ozark, But now I have, and now I see, how it's going with that. And I'm like, oh, it's got to be the same ferry thing. And, I don't want to give too much away, but a lot of characters die on Ozark, like pretty much every episode, right? And, when one of the bigger characters died, I'm like, how could that person just get away with it? How are they okay with that person just dying? I'm like, I guess okay, right? I have not seen The Expanse. Rebel Moon comes out December 22nd. Yeah. Today is National Theater Day, and a lot of theaters have $4 movies. That's for sure. So if you want to go watch Barbie, go check it out, which is not bad. Barbie's really not a bad movie. Will Ferrell's in it, and Ryan Gosling's hilarious, and a bunch of characters and people in it. They're like all different Kens and all the different Barbies, and Alan is hilarious. It's just funny. It just works. It just works for what it is. So I definitely recommend that. Or Mission Impossible, or Indiana Jones. I know too. For $4, that's not bad. It takes me back to like the 80s and 90s when movies used to cost $4 or $5 per ticket. I saw where's a question about Jack. So Diana asked, does anyone know when Reacher is coming back on Prime? I want to say, I don't know exactly. I don't know the date, but I heard it was later this year. So it's probably December, but I don't know. I know that Generation V, which sounds kind of bad, but it's The Boys, from the Boys universe there. It's comes out September 29th. And it's called Gen V, and it's like a college campus of up-and-coming soups. And I'm hoping like A-Train's in it, and a couple other people are in there too. And it's pretty good. It looks good. I like The Boys, and that's coming out in September. I don't know when Reacher's coming out, but I'm excited for that second season. The first season was really good. Do you think the ones who live, the ones ending could break or I don't know, could make or break the, I don't think it's going to make or break the franchise. The ones who live. I don't know. That's a good question. And if we're, that's a big ask to see if it's going to make or break the series. I don't think so, personally. I think it's going to I don't think it's going to hurt it. I don't think the ones who live is going to hurt the franchise. It hurt their thing too. So yeah, TOWO is the ones who live. But I don't know. Like, I know we're going to see Rick. We're going to see Michonne. We're going to see some of the people that Michonne saw at the end of her episode. We're going to see Jadis. We're going to meet Major General Beale. I don't know if we're going to see Elizabeth Kublik. I don't know if we're going to see anybody from World Beyond. I don't know anything from that. I don't know if we're going to see Morgan. I just know it's a big, huge ask for 6 episodes. Now, I think Dead City worked with 6 episodes. Because what was that show? Negan, Croat, Dama, Maggie, Herschel, Marshals, New Babylon Marshals, this, that, New York City. It could be 6 episodes. I wish the Daryl. Well, no. I wish the Rick and Michonne show was going to be 10 episodes. Or even 8. Imagine if they're 45 minutes, how much more you could get out of 90 minutes. 90 more minutes if there's 2 more episodes. A lot. You could have got a lot more content. But I have faith in Andy Lincoln and Denai. I don't know about Gimple so much anymore, but I have faith in them, and they're involved with the writing and part of it too. So, Jonathan Water, did you see the Rick and Michonne poster? What are your thoughts on that about it? Well, I have a whole video talking about it, and it's fan-made. It's not through AMC. And I like the fan-made stuff. The fan-made stuff, some of it's better than what the AMC Walking Dead universe puts out. But it's fan-made. It's not from them. It's not confirming that Morgan's going to show up. It's not confirming that Morgan's going to be anywhere too. So I like it because it looks great. Morgan with his bow staff and Rick and fighting and whatever, and it's great. And I think the CRM is a great adversary for Rick, Daryl, Carol, Michonne, Maggie, Negan, Croat, Dama, whoever, everybody and anybody. Just take them out. Take them on. End the game. The end of the story. Like, what is the true ending, final ending of the Walking Dead universe? No more spinoffs, no more shows, no more this, no more that, blah, 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 no more. Just one more final franchise, final show, final spinoff, final episodes. That's it. What's the final endgame? Because in the comic, it's the Commonwealth. It's Carl. It's Carl telling the story to his daughter. It's Carl and Sophia together. It's Herschel being a punk. It's, Judge Michonne. It's this. It's that. And they've had that on the Commonwealth. But this is uncharted territory with these spinoffs. Daryl isn't in the comic. Rick is still alive. Michonne is not a judge. Carl is dead. Is it going to be Judith telling the story to her son or daughter with her husband, who would be, I don't know, one of the other, kids there at the Commonwealth, I'm guessing, or boys from the Commonwealth. By that time, they would be full grown. Is that going to be the story of it? And it's funny because the walkers aren't a problem, and Carl kills a walker and gets in trouble for doing it because of the whole thing that they have with the walkers and stuff there. But in the Walking Dead universe now on the show, there's a bajillion walkers still. So that doesn't look like it's going to end that way, because the walkers, there's a billion of them in New York City. There's a billion of them in France. There's a billion of them over here. There's a bunch over there. So what's going to be the final thing? Is it Judith? Because I would love to see that. I think Judith should be the ending. And I personally would think that, Rick dies. He gets to meet RJ. He sees Judith. He, gets back, says his goodbyes, and he dies. Michonne lives on. And it's interesting because the ones who live, does that mean that everybody lives? Everybody survives? Because I don't think Denai and Michonne's going to die. I don't think Michonne dies, personally. If it's got to be Rick or Michonne dying, if one of them has to die, I would go with Rick. That's how I would write it. But, I don't know. So, we'll have to see where it goes. I mean, there's been talk of October 14th. Let me see. I believe it's the 14th. Yeah, it's a Saturday. That's New York Comic-Con. And I believe the 14th of October could have the Rick and Michonne trailer at New York Comic-Con. And that would fit because Daryl Show, that would be the good time to do it. And then Fear the Walking Dead, we ought to do it too. So, at New York Comic-Con is the word that they could have the trailer there too. I think it makes sense. And so, September, Daryl Show, October, Fear the Walking Dead, and then November wraps up Fear the Walking Dead because it'll go into that, and then we don't have anything. And rest of November, December, January, and then we don't know the final date of the release date of The Ones Who Live. But I'm guessing and hoping for it to be in February. I don't know if they want to prolong it a little bit because of the strike and they can't film and they can't do that. So I could see them doing that too. Because it's got to be tough, right? So I would assume all your shows are done and movies and everything. They're done. They're ready to go. When do you want to release them? And more stuff is getting pushed to 2024. More and more stuff is getting pushed to early next year. That was supposed to be end of this year. Not just AMC, but other productions and other things there too. So it's something that could be making them be like, well, we don't know when we're going to have more shows or movies or series or anything. So let's push it back a little bit. Push it back a month. Push it back 2 months. Push it back till early next year. Whatever. So I don't know what their plan is because the word is that they want to film Dead City fall 2023. The Daryl Show season 2 was filming. Now they're on strike. What's going to happen with that? Dead City, it's August 27th as I make this video, this live stream. What's going to happen in a week, in a month, 2 months? That strike has been going on for a decent amount of time now, too. So I don't know if Netflix and their studios and whoever, everyone that's involved, if they're going to give in to some of the demands. Because they don't have to, like Netflix doesn't have to do anything. They got shows for days. They got this for days. If not, they can just buy other shows and buy other things and put it on in their content that way. But what about Warner Brothers? What about Paramount? What about Hulu? What about this? What about that? What about Amazon? What about all these places? So I don't know. I mean, it's some of those things where after a while, okay, probably they were like, okay, let's not do anything or not give anything in until the last minute. Exactly. Dune 2 was pushed to next year, right, Kamey? So that's Warner Brothers, HBO stuff on there too. So Warner Brothers pushed that back. And they got to start filming Mission Impossible, Part 2. They got to start filming this. They got to start filming that. They can't do that with the writers and the actors on strike. So hopefully it gets resolved sooner rather than later. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But, yeah. See, right now we're okay with it. Because stuff's coming out every week on streaming stuff, and movies are still coming out, and production's still coming out. And, like there's a movie coming out, I want to say September. It's called The Creator. And it's Denzel Washington's son, John David Washington. And it looks good. It looks like a good sci-fi type of movie. But, like, what's the future of the movies? Like, what's going to be the future of Cobra Kai? What's going to be the future of this? What's going to be the future of, like, Stranger Things? Stuff going there, too. The Jon Snow show. I mean, what else you could think of? Other stuff that's coming out, too. If Dr. Death, if you're asking about the movies that were supposed to be Rick's movies, that's the show now. The 3 movies is now the 6-episode show. It's in place of that. But, yeah, so hopefully we'll get it under control with that. 2 weeks from today, guys, we're going to be talking about the Daryl Show. Because in 2 weeks, it'll be September 10th. That'll be the opening. That's a big day. So September 7th is AMC Plus release of the Daryl Show. I'm guessing Ride with Norman Reedus. Also the first game with the Lions and the Chiefs. And then that Sunday, the 10th, is opening Sunday for football. Professional football. The Daryl Show, Ride with Norman Reedus on AMC. And that'll be 2 weeks from today. So it'll be here before you know it. I'm excited to just see what they can do with the Daryl Show. Make sense. Connect the dots. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. Thank you, Mike. If that's to me, he says congratulations on your new job. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. So I don't know if you guys came late or not, but I said it before that I'm taking a new job, a full-time physical therapy job, starting in a couple weeks. So because I got to wrap up some stuff with my employers now, and then go to a couple things. And so not this week, but the following week, I'll be starting at my physical therapy job, 40 hours a week, which is going to cut into my ability to make videos. So I won't be able to make daily videos for that. Just won't have enough time in the day. Now, if some big information comes out, I'll see what I got to do and do that too. And that'll be right before the Daryl Show starts. So Daryl's coming back. So I still plan to make videos, especially with talk about the Daryl Show. If you're the Walking Dead ending, The Ones Who Live, Dead City Season 2, the Daryl Show Season 2, eventually maybe Tales of the Walking Dead, and we'll go from there. The Last of Us, I want whenever they can start filming Season 2 for that to come out, and other movies and other stuff there. But the videos won't be as daily as they are now, just because I won't have time. Working 40 hours a week, and to do that too, I still want to make videos, and I will be able to continue them, just not on a regular basis. And I just want to be transparent, because when I just want to make sure that people know what's going on. I'm not trying to say I didn't make videos and what's going on, and people will be like, oh well, is everything okay? Everything will be fine, and I'll be posting posts and having things on there too, and having different just stuff there. It'd be interactive there on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and all that stuff too. So I just try to take my time with it, and then so I have another thing added to the pile. I got enough stuff on my plate. I was thinking about it. I got a house and a wife and cats, and now a full-time job I'm going to have, and my car, and we got this potential hurricane coming our way, and we got just a lot of stuff like that, and then my book series, and then of course social media, YouTube, and everything, and then try to have some fun, and then my dad's coming here in October. And I got all these things, it's just little things add up, especially if they're smaller. It just, Brian laughs, but my cats are my kids. Milo and Otis are my kids, and they're needy. Milo wakes me up at 7 a.m. if I'm lucky. A lot of times he wakes me up at 5:30 because he wants food or attention, or he's confused or whatever, because he's 16 years old now. He's older. So I don't know if he's got dementia or whatever on there too. He just doesn't realize sometimes. So he's sitting there crying at 7 for no reason. He's got food and water and this, and so I got to wake up and do that and take care of him, and he's all right, and then try to fall back to sleep, and a lot of times I don't, and it's a mess. And animals are, another, say, mouth to feed and another person to take care of, and everything. It's pets are our family for sure. For sure. All right, guys, so that's my hour. I appreciate you taking the time for this Sunday. They got the Little League World Series. The championship game is Curacao versus a team from California at 3 o'clock on ABC, I believe. And I always like to watch that. I've been watching a little bit here and there. And, I love Little League World Series. It's like I think a lot of people grew up playing Little League, and I like to see what happens there. And I'll be back next Sunday talking about the Walking Dead universe, anything there too. And remember, the Daryl Show in 2 weeks. So Dark Winds tonight on AMC. If you're checking out the stuff on Facebook and YouTube from the AMC channels, check it out. I think they're still playing episodes from The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead. Yesterday I turned it on, and it was the pilot episode. I saw when Shane and Rick were getting ready to take that car out at the start of the first episode. So we'll see where it's at. Maybe check in their Facebook page or their YouTube channel. So remember, guys, with hard work and dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. And just keep working hard. I'm proof of that. Something I posted in a comment earlier this week, and I wrote, life can change in an instant, good and bad. I applied for a job, got a phone call, did an interview, got a full-time job in a matter of 2 days. Or 3 days. But I'll be back next Sunday to talk about a bunch of things. Stay safe.